Hey everyone, in today's lesson I'd like to talk about some character effects. Here I have prepared some of the animation with effects applied on it. So we have some um, curves running along the character's body, in creating some interesting pattern and and some different colors on it, and which gives us some interesting abstract effect on our dancing character. So let's see actually how I made it. Okay, so here I have my character dancing. The character I downloaded for free on the Mixamo channel and the animation as well. The only difference is that I blend several animation and completed the dancing scenario, okay, and export it as Olympic or BGU sequence, so I can use for all of my tests in the scenes without uh, messing with the bones and skinning issues. Okay, so you can download it on my Boosty channel or use your own character. Okay, so here, 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 what I did actually to apply the effect on the character. So first things, we freeze our character in the scene, so we could apply it first, and then by using a point deform a node, we will transfer our animation or deform our static geometry onto the animated geometry. Okay, so here's the static geometry, and I'm applying some subdivision to have more details on the character. Okay, and then I'm applying attribute noise. So here I'm having random noise color on my character, and I'm blurring the color just to smooth things out, um, so the effect could blend uh, nicely, let's say smoothly. Okay, then I am applying a polyframe, and I'm using this color with the attribute gradient, which I'm applying onto my velocity channel, velocity attribute. Okay, so now if I look, I have my color, I have my velocity applied onto the vertex level. Okay, so to visualize my velocity, I'm promoting my velocity from vertex to point, and this way um, you can see there is a velocity onto our points. Now it has a velocity like um, moving outwards of each color pattern. Okay, so next what I did, I'm applying normals to my character. So and then by using a cross product of velocity and the normal attributes, I'm putting it back to velocity attribute. And this way, if you noticed, like this is velocity before, and by applying cross product between velocity and normal, I'm having this circular patterns onto my character. Okay, adding more attribute blur. You can actually skip it if you want some more concrete uh, parts of the animation simulation. Okay, so next we'll dive into our popnet, I also connected my um, older velocity version to my second input in case I'd like to use them, or in a mixed manner with the newer velocity. Okay, so let's see. So here we have a basic pop setup, and here we have some amount of particles. Here we have points, first context geometry, um, constantly uh, um, giving a burst of particles, constantly adding particles to our scene, and adding, there is like 155,000 particles, and the everything is the same, nothing is changed. So the second one is the pop wop, which actually we'll use to apply our velocity channels. So here I have my input, like first and second geometry, which I will use in our pop wop node. So let's dive in. So I'm using a point cloud open to apply my velocities to my particles. Okay, so here the first one, I'm using the first input, and I'm using like search radius 0.1 and number of points of 1. So I'd like to have some sharper patterns of particle movement. Okay, if you want to have some smoother movement, you can add more particles. This way it will kind of spread all those velocities or forces, different type of attributes, just to spread between those points. Okay, then I'm adding a PC filter with velocity, then I'm normalizing my velocity and adding a multiplication just to make it slower. The stronger the velocity, the more chaotic particles would be, which is which may be needed in certain cases, but in this one I found that the slower velocity will give you a more interesting patterns. Okay, so let me apply this first onto velocity. Okay, and let's see what we have. Just will jump. So here we have some interesting movement, and as you see, the particles are moving in a spiral type direction. Okay, and they try to orbit in the center of those color clusters. Okay, very interesting, a galaxy type effect. Okay, and let's see how it looks if you apply the first velocity which we had. So let me just put it positive value. Okay, So as you see, all the particles moving away from the center of each cluster, color cluster. Okay, which also gives some interesting effect, which we may use in our own advantage. So let's say I made a mix, but I want have a spiraling effect and slowly moving towards the center of each cluster of my particles. Okay, here I had a mix, and actually I already put some values. I have so 0.2 in this case, and I would like to have this to be negative. So I want those particles to move to the center, not away. Okay, and here I have the spiraling effect applied more um, than the moving to the center effect. Okay, and let me jump again. Okay, so here we have as you have noticed, it's just on the back of our character, but the effect, the particles are moving slowly to the center, and we have the evident spiraling toward the center. Okay, or maybe this. Here we have some interesting pattern. Also, circles appear, and they're moving towards, like not simply spinning like uh, in a one manner, like equal manner, but just moving toward the center. Okay, here as well. So as you see, using all those methods gives you a very nice kind of pattern look on your characters, which we can modify later on. For example, I could also add, let's say, add more patterns. Let's say 0.5. Okay, here I'm having a more pattern than before, and let's see the result. Let me jump again. All right. So what it will give us? It will give us more color clusters onto the on the character, and we should see more circulating patterns on our characters. So here we have on the shoulder. Here we have on something happening on the helmet. Here we have on the leg. Yeah, so more patterns would would happen on the character with more clustering, um, the colors. Okay, so with this velocity applied to the particles, it's actually if I've turned off this popper angle just to see what it would happen. So you see those particles are moving away from the surface. In certain cases, you would probably uh, uh, use this technique. Just for example, you want your character to disassemble, okay, which by having this nice uh, pattern look and moving away from the character, and by by disassembling your character this way, which I think also could be a great idea. But in our scenario, we want to stick all the particles onto the surface. So here's a expression which actually does that. Here I have made a mistake. We are using a min pause expression, and in our case, we're using a first context geometry, which is a character mesh. So our position equals min pause of the position of the first input. Okay, and it sticks all the particles onto the mesh of the surface. All right. And you can add drag if you wish. You can just grow your effect. Um, but the main point was how to apply this effect, this particle movement uh, onto our character. So next steps we will do. We'll apply some color adjustment if we want. For example, we're using here our base colors, but we want just to switch to different color scheme. Let's say here I'm adding a just color, and I'm using color with the remap attribute of our color. I'm computing some range, playing with the values, and I choose this color, which I found like um, which looks good in my opinion. So here we have here our movement, and next we'll apply this to our point deform. So the point deform, we are putting our static geometry onto the first input. Second is the rest, which is the same, the static geometry, and the last one is the animated geometry. I've added a retime node just to slow down the animation onto a half. Okay, and this way we can see how our effect is being applied onto animated geometry. You may want to to slow down your animation in case if it's not that visible, not that evident, the effect itself, or probably use um, um, some small animation like walking or idling, or um, I don't know, I mean, just having effect being visible. Okay. um, um, let's actually try, just give it a like 95 just to see. It feels like it's not working, so let's just create another. Okay, size and output is 95. 96. So as you see, we have some movement going on here. Okay, so it's more evident on slowly moving object, but I think it looks nice. Okay. All right. Continuing from here, what we could do next, we could add some trail effects onto the particles. Okay. Just let me switch it back to our pixels. Let's say we have some trails added. As you see, with some trailing animation. Okay. Well, this is happening because we have our particle life being quite short, so we could just increase the age of the particle so these things not to happen. Or we could use another popnet just to emit trails of these particles and then connect them, which will give you a trail effect by using an ID attribute. But we won't do this in this lesson. We'll just use this trail node, which is enough um, uh, just to see the effect. And if we want a longer animation, we could just go to the burst. Let's say I'm doing something like 21 and 24, 21, I think seconds. It should be okay. All right. Um, here I here I have a different type of animation, like a moving strokes, um, which also It's quite interesting. Just have a look. All right. And the same, I can add this to my color, adjust attribute, and node, and adjust my colors just to have some interesting pattern. Okay, I might use um, noise in this case if I want my colors to be animated. Okay, or keep it this way. All right. Next addition to this effect, what I thought would be interesting to you might here I am adding um, a color attribute, but this time I'm animating my colors. Okay, just what kind of effect you could achieve. The same attribute blur and all the process as well. Okay, and the only difference between the PopNet setup is here I'm using only one frame just to uh, not uh, over complicating my simulation, because there will be a lot of particles. So everything is the same, nothing special. The only thing we have is a particle being created on frame 1, and our colors being animated. Okay, and if I just start. All right, so now as you see, by moving our colors uh, or velocities, we having some different type of effect. Okay, some chaotic moving particles. All right. So, and here as well, you can use the trailing, which also would give you an interesting pattern. Okay, just like some flock of lines moving in different directions, while some are organized but some are not. Okay, and coloring and so on. Here what I've created as an additional, but let me finish actually. So here I'm using a noise which is applied onto our point position. So this way um, we are using our point position to apply the noise effect. But here I'm using the same method, but in case of using a point position, just instead of applying the noise to the point, I'm using the texture of the character which I've created, or actually it was on the character by default. So the advantage of using the UVs whenever whenever characters just sits down or moves, but in this case, I mean, the both methods are fine, but whenever you use the point position. It will use the world position. So this way, your noise will constantly change whenever character moves in other scenarios. But using UVs, uh, which uh, which gives you an advantage of sticking your animations onto the character. Whatever moves or whatever happens to your character in the certain scenarios. Okay, so here I'm adding some noises. I have some animated noise. Okay, blurring it, and I'm converting my grayscale color to an RGB value. Okay, so I could have different type of um, direction, which is X, Y, and Z, which is corresponds to RGB. Okay, and also I'm avoiding the zero value. It means that your particle will stop. It has to constantly move, so you have to um, uh, keep your colors like um, uh, in a different range. Uh, okay, so the same method is applied here. Nothing, nothing special. And here we have our result. I think it looks very interesting. Okay, so as you see, by applying some colors and converting back to some forces, velocities, you can achieve some interesting results. Okay, you are also using color by to distract uh, my character, like its stereotype look. Okay, so here also we could just add some trailing. Or like in this case, I'm using the shorter lengths of the particles, so I could see that they are moving. Okay, and in here I'm adding those trails, and I'm time shifting this. I'm freezing those movement. Okay, so I have like those lines all over the character's body, and then I'm applying this with my line effects tool. Um, and here I have moving colors on my character. All right, and also I can just change the color pattern. Here I have some moving color pattern. Okay, all with the same tool. Here we have particles, also they're moving, and adding some colors. Okay, I also added noise onto this color onto this point, and add some animation if I want, like to cheat a little bit, but um, but also maybe you would like to use the original color of your particles. before applying this movement effect. This way you'll have a colored particle moving. Okay, so yeah, this is all that I would like to share in this lesson. Well, I hope it was interesting and useful to you. And I would like to thank all of my Boosty supporters. Thank you very much for supporting me. That helps me a lot. Also, I'd like to inform that uh, I've connected my Discord channel on my Boosty page. So if you have any questions on subject, or maybe some future lessons you'd like to see in a uh, um as a upcoming video tutorials, please join the channel and uh, write your questions or uh, future tutorials that you'd like to see. Um, well, thank you very much, everybody, and please subscribe, and there will be more lessons to come. Goodbye and good luck.